map as well. Even though it's a map that they play a lot, they're not necessarily dominating on the map either for this side of Ghost, and they had a lot of victories where they were actually in overtime and against teams like TV, teams like Masked Treasure, losing 11-13 against Space Gliders. You're like, who are these teams? You know, so they're basically teams that are able to make it just at the cusp before making it into the main event, and they're still able to make this close against Ghost Gaming. So for SOTRs, I think it works out. There's a possibility that these teams could trade off maps against each other, but it really stems down to the level of comfort. Oasis back onto this jet, or continuing the jet into this round, but what's important and I like is Cypher on this map. I'm a huge fan of Cypher on Haven.
And I don't think Oasis is. Just got tagged up. But all good, though, because Madison also wanted to give credit to them, kind of giving up the duelist role that they're so well known for, to give it over to Invert. And, well, if you're going to give your Phoenix over, they better be killing. And Invert's doing that again. The 25K they had on the last map has been huge for them. The headshot, Khaleesi. Whoa. Was that a ghost? Wow. And then you have May stepping into the smoke, finding some unfriendly neighbors, and the teamwork for Ghost, now that they're synchronized, is giving them a winning chance. Vanitas in a 1v1 to decide the pistol, and none other than Invert to clutch it out for SOTRs.
It was looking so good until you get into the 1v1 for Vanitas, and you probably see Invert on the other side, and suddenly you just panic. It's like, oh my god, it's Invert on a 1v1. I can't win this. And then Invert is able to clutch another pistol up for SOTR. So that's now 3 pistols over this series so far for SOTR. Yet results are still in favor of Ghost Gaming at the start. But, you know, it's a simple round that you see here on the attack. Cypher spots the duelist, calls for the pivot towards that C site. They move in very quickly with some great teamwork and flashes out from Evil Eli, but unfortunately couldn't close out that 1v1 in the end. So spacing within tradability was perfect for both of those teams in that fight. Attempt again to try to go towards C though for the attack set of Ghost.
Okay, the ping at least on the neon. Now you get a heads up, but the surprise is still there. Ghost Gaming knock at the door, and they're the ones being knocked down like dominoes. SOTRs are now going to infiltrate the smoke. There's no safety for Gia. Nice shot from Oasis just with the Sheriff. And all comes crashing down for Ghost on that save. So SOTRs, they have won every pistol in this series so far. That is going to be a difference maker.
Yeah, and a clean anti-eco too, so... Or, yeah, exactly. Clean anti-eco by losing only 1 player on that side, and Spattison having the whole team run her down again from that first round to the second one, but delayed long enough. What I also love was the hot hands from Invert to not allow players to really swing behind the smoke in the back of the site. So it really took some players down, so it was really nice to see. Great stalls, which allowed the flood back from SOTRs.
Very deja vu that Invert's about to get another run it back. Kind of just like on Pearl. Had a 3 or 4K off the pistol, and having a almost round 3 run it back is how SOTRs were able to convert the second half at least. And will just earn it now. It's Eli grabbing the orb. They will also be 1 away from the run it back. Now that all said and done, losing 1 there. Do Ghost Gaming feel like the C side is the weakest? They're still working the map.
Feel like they have to try to go for that. The camera's looking up too, trying to get a dart through the cage. They're trying to find a little bit of information to see if anybody's pushing up towards that A side, because if that orb is still up for grabs over on that A long, that might be the saving grace as well for Ghost Gaming to get into the A side. Yeah, even though it's against an against a bonus round, you're playing 4v4. Invert's still alive. Invert has to run it back. You need it here for the team.
Caught by the trip will delay things. Khaleesi will still tempo up, but good trades. Just being able to shut down. Oh, that duelist is huge. Speaking of duelist, Invert just throws your whole plan in the garbage.
Told you, when Invert is alive, very difficult to deal with or deal against. And you're trying to figure out here what happened to that smoke. Why wasn't there a smoke being thrown towards Heaven side? It's because they already lost their controller at the very beginning. So again, I felt like they needed that running back at least to get a little bit more space for Evil Eli, but because you already had the slide tackle opening onto Battison over on that A site, they thought they would easily be able to take over A for the plant, but Invert finds the timing, and SOTRs are able to convert a nice little bonus round.
It doesn't start with Invert usually. Now this time, I mean, last map they only had the 1 first blood, but it just feels like SOTRs come together beautifully. I think it was a 30 bomb from that Phoenix too on Pearl. So if Sen Otters can always rally together at the end, it's how they close out that matters. And now it's Oasis now, time in the sun.
That's the thing, though. Oasis able to start off on a defensive side first, too, as a Jet is another level of boost of confidence that you could really carry over into the second half, because they did an excellent job as the Jet on that defensive side previously on Pearl when the action was coming towards them, trying to go for 1v1 picks, trying to take down Sari when Sari was playing over on that chamber, and now you have the opportunity to leverage Oasis on instant first picks. Look at this. I wouldn't be surprised if you're trying to get a pick out towards Garage with the confidence with the op, or just try to watch a tight angle into grass as well, but it still allows here for SOTR to really lock down a lane.
Information in lobby. Avery just checking all the bases, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, about to get crossed up themselves though as Ghost Gaming are infiltrating, but because Avery gets hit by the blaze wall, they get away with two. Those gamers just cannot hold this site to save their lives, to save this game. And Sen Otters end it.
If you guys are fans of Chrono Trigger, the RPG, you know the combination of Chrono and the and Frog, the X cross. That's basically what happened with the two blaze walls, and Avery was able to hide through a little X and a gap between all of that and just storm and swipe out 2 kills. Look at this, unaccounted for, just easy kills. There was even a smoke to help them out as well. And that is a difficult site now for Ghost Gaming to even take, because they thought they had the right walls blocked, the line of sights blocked too, but they were a victim of their own demise when they're trying to scale behind that with less util, and allowed here for Blue Otter Sentinels to even drop another gun round for Ghost that forces them on another eco.
And a judge buy from Khaleesi, but the wall didn't come up fast enough. Khaleesi just, it's a little too energetic for her boots, but it is a sheriff buy. And I'm kind of surprised Ghost haven't done a timeout yet, because it's 5 uncontested rounds, and maybe you do so after this one just to compose the team at least. But this is Ghost Gaming map pick, and they've had success in the past. They're able to go the distance against FlyQuest despite that loss. This is starting to be a pretty serious lead for Sen Otters. It's not going to be flawless, and if anything, it's starting to go the other way. This was, what, a 5v4, 5v3, and Sen Otters are getting traded. Ghost Gaming have the safest plant here off of Sheriffs, but there's no Ghost protecting them. So Invert is the eagle eye in the sky, the run it back, the drop down, kick to the teeth to Ghost. 2 versus 2 with thrifty opportunity for Ghost if they can just last long enough. And Eli bets the Phoenix. And Oasis has to cut through the forces. No, Gia with 18 HP. Thrifties for Ghost.
A 3 versus 5 for Ghost Gaming on the eco as well to be able to win that round. Trying to find clues, trying to get lucky, trying to force a rotate, and even one player was spotted at the beginning towards the E long. Yet the haunt to the flash to fully blind Avery before Avery has a chance to react to break the haunt, and it allows him to get space. Now you offer running back in a sheriff, by the way, by Evil Eli, and somehow the GC Sheriffs continue their stories from stage to stage. The GC Sheriffs is basically the analyst desk time and time again. You're never going to stop talking about it.
And how is that the first successful A post plan for Ghost off of a full sheriff save? Like, it's kind of hilarious. Pressure makes diamonds though. And you're going to leave that insert from G on the left side, kind of switching up the lurks here, and you're going to have Sari walk down A. Usually it's been a peek from Avery, but having the Sentinel set up here at A, change up here from Sen Otters. No timeout for Ghost. They're confident. They're blossoming. They're going towards C and cutting off the back of the site. Now they'll rally together for the plants, and Battison is suppressing on the other side of the map. But what's important is the neural theft that Battison just got as Ghost Gaming. They're going to be pinged out on their last positions here as the Hunter's Fury. It's supposed to give info for Avery, but barely, if any, damage has been done to Ghost. Now they're hoping to bail each other out, but a peek from Khaleesi gets punished, and the duelist goes solo. Vanita now has to do it all on her own. The 3K makes this actually winnable for Ghost. 1v1, Spike halfway. Gia has to get around the corner. Oh, the Spike was almost held, and Gia's quick to the trigger. That was so close.
Nice for Gia as well, just to go for the pre-fired shot through the boxes before going for the wide swing, anticipating an Avery was going to come through. Yes, it was close, but no cigar. You tried to combine a little bit of the Neural Theft and the Hunter's Fury off the first ping and second ping, but it's a little bit too late. You couldn't really get the Hunter's Fury back to the right spot that you wanted to. And they never scaled behind that really aggressively for the side of Sentinels Otters. That said, though, that running back that I mentioned from 2 rounds ago, I apologize, it was actually Invert that got denied here by Evil Eli, which is allowing Evil Eli to get the running back to clear space from Garage into the C site. So now that the tides have turned, Ghost Gaming have somehow managed to break the economy of the Sen Otters. Guardian for Battison, Oasis with a Vandal, but that's the best weapons that they have carrying over in round number 8.
Ghost Gaming, just they only really have vision on mid, and other than that, kind of going in blind. So this double walk-up Sen Otters could really pack a punch, especially that hero rifle from Oasis. It's going to start to test Sari. She even gets one of those. That would be a Neural Theft, but Oasis surprises. Is able to fall back. Not able to get that upgrade, though, I believe. So Sen Otters still happy to work around the Vandal and what they have. And now we'll have to converge into B as Ghost Gaming set up camp. With 1 win condition down, but at least the power of extending out of the site, making that space. Khaleesi needing to really heat up. She's been punished a couple of these times on the extensions, but now so much better support around their Neon. Gia watches carefully, stays composed through mid, and Ghost Gaming are winning all of their duels. And we need to see more of that. They want to scale back into Haven.
And even though Sari doesn't get a Neural Theft, it was a Neural Theft at home kind of style, right? Because as she gets picked off, she notices now that it's an aggro push. There's potentially 2 players over on the A-Link. So let's just try to go for the B to A-Link push, because you would expect those 2 players to continue flanking from behind. So it was a great read for a pivot to pressure on that line to get more space. It even catches Sentinels Otters off guard because one was still droning while the other one's out in the open instead of trying to info. So a great push by the A-side Link, and I think that was Vanitas moving forward as well for those picks. So I love the heads-up plays so far from the IGLing over for Ghost Gaming's on on the attack side, and for Sen Otters, you just have to praise the amount of firepower they currently bring round after round thanks to Invert.
Absolutely, and this is that super sub that we're going to keep talking about, because this is their 3rd match with Sen Otters, where not sure why Sin can't play, but it also forces a lot of role adjustments, where Battison has been a top GC duelist for this team, and now has to be in those Sin shoes of the Sentinel, but Invert at least is delivering on those on the Phoenix picks, which is a very feast or famine type of agent. Now 2 away from that run it back, which has been such a huge part of these retakes, especially going unsmoked and unwatched. And that's why it's so important to have Gia deep into these rounds if they can. And I think Ghosts have adapted how they've approached when Gia isn't there. Now information here for Avery. Not pulling out the recon. We'll still have that if needed. Ghost Gaming caught all noise, and this could catch Avery. It's gonna fall all the way out of the site and play for retake.
Retake will be not as difficult because you still have the flashes and the power of Invert when they're going to be going back towards this A side, but yeah, Sari does an excellent job once again. Even taking down Invert of all players too with the 4-player push out from Sen Otters.
And those 2 shock bolts weren't enough. Vanitas was committed. She says, I got a job, I'm gonna do it. But now no nightfall for the post plant, but a keen eye towards that top of the site. This May with a paranoia. You got a flank from Battison. It needs to start developing though. And Gia, the bodyguard, looks away at the wrong time. Battison, lucky timing. The crunch begins. 2 duelists against 3, and Sen Otters tear them apart. Finally back with their heads above water.
That's a difficult one too for Gia. I don't think she's gonna like herself for that one too. You already have two players with heavy firepower playing towards that site to watch that heaven, especially as you already took down the player shock darting towards the top. Avery falls from heaven. You would expect the other ones to be flooding back here from spawn, so they already have like the crossfire from hell into default. And you see how much it becomes difficult for Evil Eli after Gia dies. They have to watch down towards sewers and graffiti because their teammates getting smoked out from hell, and you can't really do anything. So it just allowed here SOTR to have a cleaner retake in the end, just by that one single flank that Gia didn't watch, unfortunately, against Battison. And that keeps now the lead ahead for SOTR. 4 players stacked up as well into the garage, as you've seen a lot of opens when the A site wasn't really working out for Ghost Gaming to just try to prowler into the garage and try to break trip. So they're anticipating this right now for SOTR, and they're trying to trap against it.
SOTR haven't gone for an aggressive walk down for any of these orbs. It's really relying on the kills and now not really having an immediate ult to use. I think it's just SOTR needing to really trust each other now. The duelists, Invert and Oasis, showed us really their true potential on Pearl and Ghost to show us what they can do. But now they've been heard, and they are giving very much a heads up to the SOTR team. Nightfall, the smokes. The protocol is there for Ghost, but no picks. So you may see Evil Eli get ahead of this with the run it back. Spots the 3 from B-Link. So Ghost Gaming have to get ahead of this. The drone from SOTR to get information on their side of things, as Heaven has been smoked off again. Ghost really not having space, but they have the picks. Eli, beautiful double, and now the firing squad's in position, and the sidelines are open. And SOTR get closed out. Ghost Gaming keep themselves within 2.
What the heck happened there? Did we just have a bunch of phantom sprays through double smokes, and it just allowed Evil Eli to mow down 2 players? That was just very nice scaling coming out from the attack side as well. And I'm questioning a little bit what really happened in a mid-round for SOTR, because I do like the setup at the, oh, there you go, just on the left side of the box as they all ran into the meat grinder. But I do like the look on the garage take from in the first place, because Oasis dashes away. If they're trying to go back and break the trip a second time, then you curveball with the Phoenix, and then you still double swing from the garage side. But if that trip's not to get broken or contested, you got to start moving players around here, being a little bit proactive to deny and delay here any type of pushes out on the attack. Eco for SOTR, and a camera's going to watch that flank this time around.
Starting to be a really close map, despite that 5-0 start from SOTR. How the tables have turned. Still a good chance for neural theft to be used if you even feel like investing that. It's more, I think, in the court of SOTR. Are they gonna want to invest ults? It all depends on this first encounter in mid. Drone is gonna spot that stack. Now SOTR gonna just hold their crosshairs with the sheriffs and now take a more passive approach. But Oasis with first blood towards spawn, it's creating stress, forces the decision as the Prowler chases off a target, and Khaleesi's still trying to make that space. But now the smokes are positioned, now SOTR to creep up. Good backstab opportunity for Gia, but she's not going to see this quite yet because SOTR have already stepped into the smoke. And as that falls, Gia has to clean things up, and she answers that call beautifully. And Ghost make this a good win against the full sheriff save of SOTR. As Avery is now isolating 1. Crossfire as Ghost Gaming just has to go back to the tried and true. Just not overheat in a moment like this. It's not a moment to make a mistake. As Avery now has 1 more!
Oh my
and
God.
pulls it off! How are we getting so many Red Bull clutches from this SOTR side?
And it's Avery too. What beautiful shots that we just saw from them.
Last round in the half.
I think we're a little overzealous right now to have Khaleesi out in the open when the smoke dissipates over towards that A-Link. And here, a lot of gaps once again not really being watched. Gia finally corrects her mistakes by getting the backstab on the other 2. But here, how come we didn't play off each other every single time here? If Khaleesi was there trying to watch that smoke, have another player with you. Who cares, man, at that point? You can't just let that happen.
Come into the unknown.
It's definitely frustrating to watch here from the Ghost Gaming camp, but they still have a chance to fight back. They still have money to work with for this round.
Oh, the recon tagging up Ghost. Usually they're good at shooting that because it's thrown at the A lobby so fast, but Ghost Gaming, they step too far forward. Now they could have a chance to get spammed, as Avery still has 2 shock bolts. We'll use them now, thinking Ghost could have been on the other side of that smoke. I think Ghost happy to just collect this orb and dip, but also didn't have Sari lurking, so re-clearing could be an issue. Vanita's also getting marked. She needs to be bailed out. But does Gia want to use that smoke when if you want to re-hit A, you're going to need that towards Heaven, so will be a re-hit towards A. Prowler puts some pressure down. Khaleesi puts down the red carpet towards the back. The immediate connection. The retook into hell. Clean macro here from the Neon. And the neural theft will mark just how close Sen Otters are. 4 versus 2 on the post plant for Ghost Gaming to have one last second win before the half closes. Smoke dissipates. Battison and invert.
Cage triggered.
And tucked at the corner. Huge 3-person crossfire. Well set up from Ghost Gaming. Not going to be clutching again.
At the end of the day, Ghost Gaming, after 5 rounds in a row, kind of just understood how they could play their attack side. If they're going to try to work the A site, just go for that 5-player hit towards A. Battison has been setting up towards this A site every single time, and they're been playing A passively. If you know that Sen Otters are going to be on an eco, they're actually pushing down the A line, so we could just lean in towards B and C. So it's been downloaded and copy pasted every single round where they always had successes off these plants, but it really came down here to the post plant scenarios for round number 9 and 11 that shouldn't have happened in the first place for them to lose. But good on them to bring this back on the first half. But now it's time for Sen Otters to control the attack side. And as much as I praise here, Oasis having a great start on defense on this jet. Hopefully this can continue forward, especially now that Ghost Gaming has come back on the game.
Sen Otters have won every pistol in this series so far. And if they do so again, they're setting themselves up to force a map 3. And despite both pistols being won, they didn't convert Pearl, but Oasis shows up when you needed her to the most. Now knowing just how close that resistance is, Sen Otters are going to pivot. And Battison is going to give them a heads up that they could clear the way here towards A. And that Prowler, something they have to pay attention to. Where is that Fate?
Oh, that's why it's important. Fate actually just threw that to try to fall back because somehow they knew that Sen Otters are going to pivot back towards the A site. So Vanita stays alive. They could 4-man stack now towards A.
Oh man, and the crunch is there, and you're walking into a trap, and Ghost Gaming get their first pistol of the series and are just that much closer to the equalizer to see if they can close out this lower bracket series in 2.
You see how important that was for Vanitas to fall back, because as they do so, their responsibility is now to watch sewers, and the other ones that are flooding back from the A site are just all triple facing the long line. And again, they were just ready to trade off with each other, and they didn't even need to trade at all. So a nice little hold. And you talked about these pistol rounds that always came in favor of Sen Otters, and when it matters the most, it's actually Ghost that takes this one. An opportunity to bring the momentum and maybe close out this series by 2, especially with this hot getting value and a little bit of wallbang damage.
Ooh, nice shot from Khaleesi. Now there's more. Okay, Avery's kind of playing chicken against the Marshall. Khaleesi goes hunting. It's Khaleesi season, baby. And now trying to cross up. Goes for the re-hit. Almost the ace. Vanitas won't let her have it. But what Ghosts do have is the equalizer. We're all tied up 7-7. And if Ghosts convert the bonus, oh boy, we got a series on our hands.
Yeah. I guess the silver lining, if you want to have a little bit of copium right now, is because it's a clean round that you have held the end of the day for Ghost Gaming. So that's a flawless. There's not going to be any real upgrades coming through or whatnot. So you're still bringing a Marshall into this round. You have Bulldogs, a Judge, and a Guardian, so it's still some damage, but not the best weapons against the rifles that Sen Otters brings into this round. And they're actually playing way more differently than Sen Otters. They're crunching into the lobby control and just trying to take down Battison.
You're funneling everyone into Sari, which with the Judge is in a much more conservative position, not at the front of the choke, playing off the cage. Hoping someone will encroach in her utility. And Sari gets a double with the Judge, and it's a massacre. Just off this lower buy, it's now winnable for Ghost. as Eli emerges and the spike is down and hopes are down for Sen Otters to deny the bonus from Ghost.
What a lockdown with the judge there from Siri. This is nerf judge, by the way, and you're still able to get 3 kills like that. And now it's Madison solo trying to clutch it out, but I think it's definitely a hard ask. But her teammate did it before. Invert 1-on-1 versus 4 before. But there's definitely a lot more patience and coordination coming out from Ghost Gaming on how they're watching that spike this time around. So no miracles to happen for Sen Otters. And I just love what just happened there. I was stressing out because I saw Siri in the back of this B site, and I'm like, when is this smoke coming? I'm looking at the minimap, and you can see the Omen desperately trying to find, like, okay, it's coming. Throwing it across the bat from the A lobby across, but thankfully, Siri still had a cage as well, so they double up smokes between Gia and Siri to allow for her to get a huge 3-piece and putting now Sentinels onto an eco. And this is potentially familiar territory in the first half. Remember, Ghost Gaming were denied 2 gun rounds against Sen Otters when he lost his pistol in the first half.
Wow. And even with May taking space so fast, he's having a tough day. Oh, Benitez says, no, that's mine. Fat chance. Ghost Gaming, pressure all the way back. Sen Otters is ready to go next round at this point. Khaleesi Deja Vu picks with the Outlaw in short. Now you're just giving a ton of orbs over to Ghost. We're gonna make this 4 in a row. Getting to double digits very soon. So at one point, do Sen Otters use their final timeout here? Because it's getting real scary.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's probably now. they have to clean up something, because right now Ghost Gaming are currently playing Haven like it was the Breach Silva meta in the past. When you're or Breach Neon, Breach Chamber, anything that's just going to get you for the 4-player crunch into the A lobby and just play 4-1 scenarios and 4 retakes with your Cypher. So, and it's working out. You can definitely see a clear line of Ghost Gaming wanting to play more aggressively and not give up control of the A side. And wow, what a change of pace that works out here for Khaleesi with that pick.
Yeah. Oh
That's what I wanted to see from Oasis, by the way, in that first half when you saw them with the operator and they were posted up in garage. They're definitely playing with confidence for Ghost Gaming.
What luck is that every line that Sen Otters are pushing, there's an op. Now, Khaleesi is repositioned in garage. That could have been scary, but Oasis will be watching carefully.
I think she saw the running shoe of Oasis.
Bring them down.
Benitez is a veteran and knows how to take that map control solo. Play for the team, play for the win.
Take hold.
This Ghost Gaming are on a roll and hoping to roll Sen Otters. Smoke comes in just in time. Sen Otters will have to sync up. No ults, just vibes, but also a big double kill. And not this corner being checked. That is a lapse from Sen Otters. Someone has to take over. Big ol' hug thanks to Avery and Oasis. Sen Otters, though, don't have good coverage, but they'll have an angle. Oasis tucks. Sends 3 of Ghost Gaming packing as the op against Oasis can't shoot fast enough. So Sen Otters have signs of life.
Beautiful round by Oasis as well. So the question mark that I had going to the half, how will Oasis do here on the attack side? They're doing an excellent job. Winning that round on a big 4-piece. Clean shots as well. Look at the crosshair placement, just knowing where the op could be peeking from too. Now that you denied the shot from heaven. And they didn't need a timeout to be able to stay alive in this game for Sen Otters, so you're definitely going to take it so far in terms of the flow. The flow state of this team now during this map. It is still Ghost Gaming's map pick though, and going with the same type of lobby crunch, solo towards the A site. Now Invert's going to clear out space with Oasis.
And Oasis has been so fantastic on these entries towards C and needing to just give extra respect to Sari, who is just an insane anchor. Is always getting one, if not more, as a Sentinel. The spawn is being cleared out. Sen Otters are not fully clear on how many could be pushing, but they're gonna hear it now. Sen Otters gonna wrap around through garage, follow through on Invert, who's getting just information for now. Now you've fully cleared through spawn, so only one place that Ghost Gaming could be coming from. Avery has
Oh,
the
no.
Hunter's Fury for the post plan, can keep themselves alive, and now that 3 are infiltrating, Avery has no backup for the ult, and it's just caught like a deer in headlights. Huge retake for Ghost to respawn.
That was so nice. I don't know if Battison was spawned in the first place or not, but the fact that Khaleesi just kept going with the overdrive into the spawn and take her down, that was huge. But the other thing was the walk retake for the weak side on a top B from Evil Eli was pretty much everything, because Evil Eli hears the pathing of Invert moving around into garage and will call out for the team, hey, look out, they're looking to fight back towards that C line. What happens down towards that C line? They tuck in towards that cubby. They're making sure here that they're not going to get surprised by a Phoenix Flash double swing from the top of the C side, and then somehow Evil Eli finds the timing in that gap because Avery's pushing towards the spawn. Nobody was clearing towards B, and they thought that all of the rotate was going to happen towards that B main in garage. So yeah, that's a backstab, a huge backstab by Evil Eli. And then the other 3 flanking back from C just dominated the retake against SOTR here. And yeah, you were mentioning a timeout to try to stay in this game, but I think now it's a timeout to just try to salvage a little bit of that momentum. Anything that it could continue to hold back from the 5 rounds they won in that first half to try to close this map out, because it definitely looks like here Ghost Gaming has full control of this defensive side.
Yeah, SOTR is just abandoning the site. I think it would have been fine to just let Invert do whatever they wanted with the run it back and just kind of not overheat too much. SOTRs, they have only taken 1 round on their attacking side here. That lead that they have such a good buffer from how they started off this map, but series could be over if they don't pull off some flawless rounds coming up. Oasis has been a star when it comes to Haven. Addison taking some damage, but it will be a plane right to B, and Khaleesi clears the way through spawn. Battison is going to call this out. SOTR's trying to get the objective down to get themselves some time to spare. This is the SOTR special, though, of plant and abandoned ship. Ghost retake was successful last time this happened towards C. Haunt, Prowler, information, no one is within. So how Ghost address these angles will be everything. Khaleesi, the tip of the spear. The diffuse halfway, Hunter's Fury will deny that for now, as Eli caught with flash in hand. The double kill from Invert, as clutch as ever, as Khaleesi falls. And the thrifty from SOTRs keep themselves in the game post timeout is incredible.
It was a nice try too. I think off the paranoia, Hunter's Fury with the first person just sticking onto that spike was super important, but I felt like you needed to activate a little bit more quickly towards the A link to really make it difficult. Look at how they're covering the one defending. They're still holding back towards that front B site instead of really trying to push forward and disrupt the rotate coming back from the follow-up of the Hunter's Fury on that A link from SOTR. So lots of space given away, lots of time also for Oasis to get the backstab from the garage into B. To keep SOTR's 1 step closer to tying up the game back against Ghost Gaming and hopefully regain their lead on the map.
Oh,
Nice first opener by Invert.
right through the legs at the Khaleesi shot. Like, how did that not do any damage? But hey, neural theft, huge win con to open up the round here for SOTRs. This is gonna mark Vanita. She knows it, so has to drop the Nightfall to bail herself out and goes 1 for 1 at least. Could have been worse. But SOTRs have all the pillars in place, and they're watching the flank. You just never know where Ghost Gaming can be. Now the run it back activated from Invert, who is just on the front lines doing the Lord's work here for SOTRs. 2 versus 1 for the tie. Here comes Gia, marked by the drone. Now just trying to tempo up while Avery is caught, but the Blaze Wall just protects Avery so well. Great job from Invert.
Yeah, Invert throws that Blaze Wall too before the run it back dissipates as well. So it allows Avery to get value and hide behind the wall while they attack their opponents. Again, props to Vanitas to try to go for the hero play because they've already lost Khaleesi in the first wave. So you're kind of caught off guard and you have to try to go for a desperate play. So you try to go for the Nightfall. You hit 3 players. You have a chance to mow some players down because a lot of them are going to be deafened and also low on HP. But thankfully, we had more numbers. It was 3 players running up on that side here for SOTRs, and they're able to open up the A site and tie up the game. And now for Ghost Gaming, they were down to the last ounces of money in the pockets. A mixed buy bag of tricks. 2 Guardians, rifles, and a Spectre. You're hoping a first blood and some info from Sari could allow for you to be a little bit more proactive around the map and having the right calls here to try to stall this Sen Otters comeback.
And Ghost Gaming have gotten away with punishing the lurks from Sen Otters because it's a different person doing it. Usually it's Sin and now it's Badison and roles have been changed. But still, what's great about Sen Otters is their ability to adjust. Now back-to-back rounds after this timeout here from Sen Otters. Solution talked about. A lot of silence. Not being as quick and aggressive as they have been in the past.
My camera is destroyed. Cage triggered. Cage triggered.
Sari
Sarah's
gonna
been
be
good
under
too
fire.
from these spots, Lemon QE, so hopefully she could get another hero play.
Yeah. Duelist in position. Sari needed to go 1-for-1 and really just bought
30
time.
seconds
Sen Otters, they just don't give you a chance to think. They don't give you a chance to regroup. Sen Otters post plant for the lead, and Ghost Gaming, they just trickle in past the smokes. Beautifully placed from May. And the teamwork rallies here for Sen Otters. They're back in the driver's seat.
We were ready for that position as well, where Sarah is currently hiding on the top of sewers because a couple of rounds ago when they actually had Evil Eli holding in that spot, Evil Eli was able to drop 2 players. So Sen Otters making sure that they're clearing the corners this time as they scale up towards the A site. And they had a lot of players here towards this left side ammo box to just take down any opposition that were trying to scale through the Prowler, through all the smokes. Now Sen Otter are back in the lead. And timeout that was important, that paid out, and actually that was the first time out of this map apparently. Here's now a chance for Sen Otter to move forward.
Oh, a lot of damage. Khaleesi just slips by, just soloed. Doesn't wait for a flash from Eli, who was still just trying to get out of some kind of molly thrown at them. Ghost Gaming are completely caught by surprise, but it was going to be a Hail Mary anyway when you had Stingers and Sheriffs. You were just trying to get close enough to throw a punch at Sen Otters. The insert is nice, but Sen Otters are more rich enough to get now to map point. Force the map 3 here very soon. Ghost Gaming still have, I believe, both timeouts available.
Match point.
This would be the time to compose yourself for an important round.
Yeah, it almost looks like we have a site simulator for both of these teams when they're getting a lot of the successes on just fighting pound for pound in the pulse plant scenarios on the A site. This I have to respect though, right? They had a seize to catch one off a tether and the slide to get a pick, but that smoke that was being thrown on the top of the lobby makes it a little bit more difficult for them to really flood out of that. They didn't really know how many players were behind that, especially from that slide. Khaleesi was so focused on that one single kill that she only spots another one in front of her, but there was still 2 players behind her that could really shut down any type of extra push out from Ghost Gaming. That said, the frag distribution, look at both Oasis and Khaleesi having a game in the second map. The Initiator's just under that. And it's nice to see that it doesn't always have to come down to like Phoenix putting everybody into their backpacks and just taking over the rounds, right? So I'm loving this change of pace and this glow up for a lot of these players from the first map to the second map.
And I think May living deeper into these rounds too has made such a huge difference for the Sen Otters post play when it comes to A, and even just getting players like Oasis in position when it comes to the C dashes. So it's important more than ever when you're running that main controller, kind of set yourself up, because you've allowed Eli or just others to get picks when going unwatched. And I think Sen Otters have really tightened up their communication since that final timeout. We're now in a 4-round win streak.
This is a nice spot.
Looking to light up the scoreboard again and send us into our final map of Ascent. See who will ascend through this bracket. Just walk up here from Khaleesi with the op. Not going to be able to get a sightline through spawn, but we'll know if Sen Otters want to go see.
That's a huge line to take as well from Khaleesi with the operator, so that will definitely get the players a little bit more ready towards the other portions of the lanes, especially with the drone being hurt now as well. Feel like you got to get yourself ready.
I think Eli just also saw somebody in mid, so you're now very confident if you're Ghost Gaming about your approach towards A and to just keep those players safe. But Eli, I mean, wanted that first opener so bad to get the run it back and may just get it. This garage gets flooded in. If this gets given up to Sen Otters, I mean, Khaleesi is going to have the op and C long, and Eli has 2 and doesn't really need any help. But now the flash makes things difficult. But Sen Otters didn't swarm when the moment was right.
30 seconds.
Sari assists as well. Jumps in through the window to bail out Eli. And Sen Otters have the door closed on them.
I just love how Sari's just in the window, is like, don't worry, I got you. And meanwhile, you just have evil Eli fighting World War 18 and just dropping everybody one by one.
Oh my god, but the war now ended thanks to Sari's double kill, making it a flawless for Ghost. Last round of regulation coming up after the Ghost Gaming timeout. They have really been able to fight for some better map control and get a better idea and a better sense of how these rounds are going to get approached. I mean, what a play, even despite the flash just tucking in around the corner. Forcing the extra steps from Sen Otters to follow through on that flash. It's a really nice decision from Eli.
That was it. Just hoping that they find their timing. That was pretty much the name of the game there, because the rest of it, if Eli died, it would have been harder right now for Ghost to hold that C site.
Sen Otters. Oh, they're going to fight for that space a lot faster. It's the beauty of having the flash and dash combo.
Bring them down.
It's now a Prowler. We'll be checking out things, and a lot of delays being created from Ghost. And Eli is a little impatient. Run it back to mark the stack here still around. But Sen Otters are not committed yet.
And even had players playing anti-flash and stuff like that as well. So they're in a good spot. Especially this insert of a camera instead of a player is super important as well, because now you have an opportunity to work around that map a little bit more. Especially at the minute mark, there's still plenty of time to walk everywhere. And it seems as though it might be back towards the A site because the camera never really saw a re-peak. So they're expecting here that Ghost Gaming has given up that spot. Well, that Prowler, though, is going to confirm that, yeah, there's still some players here.
The re-hit going to happen. You have your trips, you have Khaleesi, you're so confident on your map information here if you're Ghost, and now you gotta be confident in your shot. As Sari walks in, or Battison walks in, all of Ghost Gaming light them up, light up the kill feed to force an overtime here very soon. It has to be up to May in a 1v3, and now marked, and there's the high-low, and no collab opportunity. We enter overtime to determine, will Ghost Gaming move on? Will Sen Otters reach Ascent?
And as much as we were praising the insert of the attack side camera from Battison on that long side, what was also allowing Ghost Gaming to be ready in this fight was the aggro camera on defense as well behind Khaleesi in case of these mid rounds. But man, this is looking pretty good. Definitely overtime for Sen Otters to try to stay alive in this series. But if Ghost Gaming now could eliminate another big organization and then move forward here in the lower bracket of the Game Changers North American Stage 1, presented by Verizon.
Sen Otters' defense, it started off very strong. They were 5-0, and then got figured out. Ghost, and then, you know, it took a Sen Otters clutch. Another, I think, I forgot who it was, but it was a clutch to kind of get, maybe scratch the surface there, but see if Ghost Gaming, those lessons help them on the attack. Bring the pistol and the bonus. Ghost Gaming, they're so aggressive. Eli is in your face. And the step up, the reaction, the clean shots from the Phoenix, setting this defense ablaze. And it's Battison that has to pick up the pieces.
And look at that. Already giving a spike over to Evil Eli. So you have running back for instant info.
Okay, the spam through as Battison. Very tricky situation. They know they have emerged. Checking the corner. Should be confident no one has swung on you yet. The Phoenix has been at the front of the boxes. The fade with them. Gia to the left. Needed to be cleaner. No 1v3. You have to be perfect. And it's Ghost ahead in this overtime.
And that was the type of protocols I wanted to see on Pearl before, when you saw like 1 or 2 scenarios where invert 1 and 1 versus 4. There was a lack of a little bit of that control of who's going to be first contact, and when the contact comes in, you have to swing with the team instead of giving individual fights. There was a moment where there was an opportunity there for individual fights if you were laser beaming shots here for Battison, because you saw how they all peaked 1 by 1 before and then finally confirmed the 3-2-1. on the actual real wide swing of Battison. But Ghost Gaming are back at map in series point. Cameras are going to spot some aggression out from that line lane.
Oh, Khaleesi, I mean, she's invested in this op. She's been wanting a target, and Prey has stepped into her arena, but tagged on the other side of this box. 25 HP, we'll just have to stick back, and now is quick to rotate, reading Sen Otters, pivoting away from this moment.
Careful.
What I love too is the full rotate from Khaleesi to watch the front B side, because for Sen Otter, they think that the C site's on lockdown with the op. Battison might get picked off here.
You don't have Oasis, but you do have the equalizer, Battison, composed. So you don't have a recon, no owl drone. You do have a camera as Battison gets the best POV they can, but only on the right side. So the left is pretty unknown. And Eli, now discovered, gets away to safety. The curveball, the backup there from Gia, and the smoke in place. Sen Otters have 2, and this is for the win. You have still 30 seconds, but you would have to re-clear elsewhere. They're going to wait for the smoke to dissipate. The cameras can't even be used because Battison's not here, but Avery, that's pretty clutch. But you have to stop Eli, who's around the corner, and Sari's ready to swing off of this. Avery dips in it out. Finds it equal. 4 versus 2 is now equal as May clutches it up when it matters, and Sen Otters extend the game.
Vanitas went for util instead on the first jiggle, and half of the body of Avery was sticking out. They felt that they were so close in winning here that all the fundamentals were gone for Ghost Gaming on that 3 versus 2. Hey, look at Eli's position. Why are we walking out? Where's the blaze wall? Eli still had 2 flashes in the blaze wall on top of that with 20 seconds left. A first person walks out to give their life away. I mean, they should have just held their composure going into the scenario there, putting themselves at a winning position, but just letting that slip. And that might be that ounce of hope that was needed here for Sen Otter to really close out the map for their side. Defensive attempt this time for Sen Otter's team as they're fighting towards the A main control. But this time they actually have some players inside the site to try to fight back toe-to-toe.
What a round from Avery. I mean, I still think about that Stinger 3K that they had from Pearl, and as clutch as ever, close to a 30 bomb.
Here.
Keeps Sen Otter's lives intact here in the lower bracket.
Cage triggered.
2 versus 4, but now back to square one. We're back to Ghost getting free garage control, and you could see that there's a lot of patience from Battison to stay tucked. Go for just the one that they are being ever so patient for. Now really focused on the site and not anyone coming through main, so the focus has been split. This defense has been cracked. It is a 5 versus 2, and Ghost Gaming, they're looking to convert yet another attacking round in this overtime. And Oasis, I mean, there's barely any damage done, but isolations here could be the only saving grace. Spotted now on the entry, nothing on garage, being pushed, and it all comes crumbling down as Ghost Gaming on map point, series point.
What a change of a setup as well for Ghost Gaming on the attack side to nullify the new setup from Sen Blue Otters on the Haven map. They double trip camera to try to prevent information on the C site. And look at that, because he double walked into that C site, Battison was so focused on watching that side that another walk contact, this time from Khaleesi instead of Evil Eli, gets value in an open site. The blaze wall was beautiful from Evil Eli, and Ghost Gaming now there trying to find their last efforts here to close out this series. A walkout coming out here from Evil Eli to get information, a jiggle peek too, and they know right now that it's extremity control. Gets a time off the camera, but finally gets spotted, has to fall back.
Now the blaze wall to try and cut off this entry, but Oasis, they're hungry, and they got the picks, Queen of the Hill, and also the paranoia to suppress Ghost from having any kind of trade opportunity. Khaleesi has to try and retake with an op. It's not going to be ideal. Someone has to make the space, and still one Prowler left as Vanitas will try to use that as a distraction. Potentially as Khaleesi close, but a high-low from Sen Otters. It will be which defense wins this game. So far, it's not looking like a Ghost defense that'll pull this off.
No, That round was already over when Gia threw her flash into the default line when all of the defenders on the C side were already dead. If anything, if it was to try to keep her teammate alive, Sari inside of the Omen smoke in her own cage, then yes, I would maybe respect it. But that time you needed to keep it for the retake for the other 3 players remaining. Especially when you tried to go for some sort of anchor play that Sari's been really good at, mind you. But this time over, the protocols wasn't there here for Ghost Gaming for the retake over on that C side, allowing now SOTR to tie the game.
There.
We restart one more time with extra innings.
Like I said, the defense, whichever defense stands taller, will be taking Haven. It's now Moss being addressed here from SOTRs, and the paranoia right through Khaleesi, and the hail of bullets is loud from Avery. And so much pressure comes through C Long. All depends on what Sari, what opportunity she can give to Ghost. Trip has not been sprung, and that was the surprise factor that Sari has. Now gone.
Yeah, that was a free kill too. Now you have to now pressure into the C line. You'll heal their drones, so maybe you have an opportunity here. The jiggle on the platform, the tight angle, beautiful here from Oasis.
Oh, they're all so focused on the right side. Who was watching back left? Collapse the defense now ahead of this. Make it a flawless. And SOTRs, they've been very successful on their overtime offenses. This could be how they force Ascent.
And the hero play at the beginning of this round was on Avery. Just that recon dart, a simple one, just gets the ping onto the slide over here on Khaleesi. Even a paranoia being thrown on top of that, so it's an easy pick to take. And then nobody's watching their angles. From what looks so good from Ghost Gaming for this whole map, seems like all those fundamentals are starting to fall apart here in their OT rounds. And you can definitely feel that pressure when you're so close here to knock out a big organization in SOTRs. That pressure might make you slip up from time to time.
Vanitas has a hero moment here, and oh, what a flick too from May at 30 HP. With her dying breath, will stop Vanitas from putting on a slaughter. And now the surge, as SOTRs have removed that main initiator. Now Ghost Gaming will not be easily able to retake. It'll just be off of the speed here of Khaleesi. The punish has been strong from SOTRs, and May just, I mean, only had a little bit of HP left. Couldn't step out in time. Now we're equal. Khaleesi gives up the op. It's ready to make the space to break into this real estate for Ghost's last chance to have a hurrah in this. The opener found. The trade's better from Battison. The double. SOTRs all depend on Oasis. And the overtime continues.
Okay, now, as much as I critique Ghost Gaming in the past couple rounds, that was super clean for the retake as well. I love the fact here that Gia is running back towards that spawn, but not overexposing herself into the A site, because that paranoia is going to be super important for the retake, as I mentioned 2 rounds ago. So now she stays. Then you're able to get Blaze Wall, Hot Hands, and also double flashes to retake, which does allow Avery to get any type of Valorant play inside the vision of the clouded one-way smoke on the top of the sewers. And they just picked apart any position from SOTR on that pulse plant. And as much as we're trading out the red dots, now we're trading out the blue dots here on the defensive sides for both of these teams. 15-15 scoreline, and a change of a setup for SOTR here this time around as well on the C side. A little bit more turtled up for Battison, and yet leveraging the camera to try to watch the garage lane.
Series is turning into a marathon. This has to be one of the longest overtimes that we've had in playoffs so far, and SOTRs are going the distance. Now really sweating to try and force that map 3, and now it's both defenses that have won a round each. This has forced Ghost Gaming to really slow it down, and I like that tempo change, but is it the nerves kicking in? It's the Prowler at least that kicks into A long, and this insertion, Oasis has a moment. Good crosshair placement. Headshot onto Eli. Avery with the suppression.
One enemy
and
remaining.
SOTRs got everything they wanted out of that encounter.
I got spied.
We're just changing every single round here for the setups for both teams. It's now becoming a TDM.
Wow. Khaleesi. Okay. Queen of Duelists of her kingdom for the ace. There's no shot. Battison, time to lock in. Finger guns, Khaleesi, you made her mad. And it's the ace for Ghost Gaming to get ahead of overtime.
Switching sides.
Oh my god, no way
Match
that
point.
happened there for Khaleesi. What a clutch of the ages there for the game changers in North America. The forward positioning was perfect for the son of Sin Honor, but I gotta say, these fights, what can you really do? The paranoia, it actually hit. She hits her opponent before she gets blinded. And then over here on the 1v1, just breaking ankles of Madison, who just gambled to watch down that line, thinking that Khaleesi was going to swing towards that left side. It's a 50-50 chance. You've lost it, but Khaleesi hits the jackpot with the ace and now puts Ghost Gaming back at map and series point.
Just hilarious that if this is really a Ghost Gaming timeout, is this like Khaleesi? I'd be falling out of my chair after an ace like that, and I would need a pause just to like fix whatever I broke in my setup.
Yeah, let me put my headphones back on, or like we're gonna have to get
like
a
something
tech pause after
disconnected.
this. Yeah.
There's no
Sorry,
way.
guys, I'm gonna have to like Uber some headphones from Best Buy or something because I just broke them from that ace.
Or
Wouldn't
you
be
like spilled
surprised.
something. 100% there's some kind of accident. But oh
And
my god, a
also-
1v5 is insane.
Agreed. And I think also, all jokes aside too, you've seen how back and forth we've gone though through all these series, and this is the first time now for the side of Ghost Gaming that are able to string 2 rounds in a row, just like St. Honors just did before. So this is probably a perfect opportunity for them to figure out what they could do here on the defensive side, what St. Honors has been doing quite well in terms of just hitting over C site after C site. And I think they're just going back to the tried and true of what worked out. I wouldn't be surprised here to see Sari play back towards the platform or to try to play around the logs so they played another 4-1 crunch into the lobby.
Now going towards spawn. Ghost Gaming have St. Otters still managing to stay quiet. The Prowler walking the trip there, getting the attention of St. Otters too. We'll be watching spawn and Ghost. They now have to reorient. Set up Khaleesi to watch B.
One thing though is that they prowlered and 2 sets of shots and the trip didn't get broken, so they know right now that Ghosts are trying to pressure towards the A line.
Khaleesi's in a good spot once these smokes dissipate. One target, the GOAT, the ace of St. Honors, Invert versus Khaleesi. 2 duelists that have made the biggest splashes for their team. And how Ghost Gaming support Khaleesi here will be everything. The Prowler watching close left. That has to be a reaction. Eli flashes out. Good entry for Ghost Gaming. And it all comes tumbling down like a house of cards. But May's double does make this winnable. 3 versus 3. The spike takes down. And so are the chances and lives that St. Honors have in this bracket. 1v1 showdown. Sari versus Oasis. The neural theft. But the spike is ticking down. And there's no time. Despite the 4K, St. Otters barely stay in this.
And you have to give that one over to May. Somebody who's
Switching
been so
sides.
good in terms of utility and
Overtime.
assists here for the team. She was like at what, 6 and 19 at some point, but mows down so a huge 3-piece to keep the dream alive here for St. Otters. Look at her position too. Out in the open, pinged out by a haunt, yet still swings out for a 3-piece in front of that B main. She was spotted the whole time, so it had to be the aim that rings true. And that allows there for St. Otters to stay back in the fight. And they themselves are also using the timeout, but not to a win point for this map as they take on the defensive side.
What an explosive round for May to even just keep St. Otters in a fighting chance. And this is a player that used to be a duelist, moved to controller role last year and locked in for the Blue Otter squad that eventually got picked up by or in partnership with the Sentinels. So what a moment for May to shine after having a struggle bus of a time at the start of Haven and has really found their stride. Better late than never. 16-16 overtime, by the way. This is now about resilience and stamina at this point of just how you're able to maintain when this is for the main event.
Yeah, the main event to try to stay alive here in the lower brackets, try to fight back through the lower brackets, try to win this first stage of the GC North America side. Presented by Verizon, trying to get the circle points as well.
Whoa, Oasis just absolutely cooks the competition even when St. Otters got flashed up. They do not care. They just stomped the yard and stomped Ghost Gaming in what was the quickest round of Haven.
And that's the first time, too, that we're seeing for SOTR the disrespect finally to fight back into the A choke. Not only did we have the 4 players push forward, but I even saw, on the side of Battison pushing down that line through the garage, leaving her kit behind on C to try to join the fray to fight towards the A lobby. That was beautiful. A huge change of pace that they desperately needed here for SOTR side to try to close out this map. 17-16 now and back into an A lobby crunch fight.
Take a page out of their book. Ghost Gaming replicating the same defense that they just lost to, and a blind perfectly placed by Gia. And another lightning fast round, this time from the Ghost Gaming defense, as the overtime keeps trucking on.
And they're trying to play their own
Overtime.
trying to break their own record as well. We talked about a fastest round we probably saw towards the A lobby crunch. We're seeing similar pastures for Ghost Gaming on the fight back towards the A main on their end. But this time there's no more timeouts. We've burnt them both, one on each side during this OT. Now it comes down to the IGL and the composure after the pep talk from the coaches or the IGLs, depending on what side you're on. To just make sure that you're resilient enough to continue to close out this map for either of these teams. This could continue to go back and forth. Now in these OT rounds, I can't even guess or make out who would win this series because it's been just some huge brawls and good fundamentals that has been shown from both of these teams so far.
A tug of war where both teams are at equal strength. Now Mark Felici, and she has always been surrounded by a team, and Ghost Gaming know it. Now they have to surge ahead like a nest of wasps. This is where they have to sting, and for the final time, at least on their attack. It sets up nicely for a plant with an advantage of a player. Xavier is out of options to give them information, but you have 2 flashes from Invert. First one out, gets established, trying to get attention. Eli waits for the right moment to strike while the pan is hot, but Sari falters. You have even odds as Eli gets ahead, and Invert 6 feet under. Ghost will convert their attack.
There was a moment there too that Vanitas got caught with utility in their hand though when they lost the life of Sari inside Hell. That was supposed to be a crossfire setup, but thankfully you count your lucky stars for sure. Put your hands together for that one because they were finally able to get their Prowler out and circle around the back and get a backstab towards default. But there was a moment for sure because it was Invert that was pushing in on that line to be able to put Sentinels back in the lead in this overtime. But it's Ghost instead. Ghost looking to fight back through the mid garage. Double duel is peeking out.
Not even a flash, just slow contact play there from Ghost, and I worry if May is gonna be able to shut this down or be the first victim. Oh, here's the drop, and May shot! So clutch! Lady Luck smiles upon these SOTRs. Shutting down one of the biggest tools that Ghost Gaming have, but they have layers, and Vanitas holds down on the front lines, creates this wall brick by brick. Second kill now, and even through the cage, be put on a leash. SOTRs, they're facing now defeat. All depending on this post plant and what May can accomplish. Watching the fight yet again, second kill, as clutch as ever. The key to retaliation against Ghost. And the drop down, not gonna work there for Sari and Gia. 1v3, trip up, reaction too much to suffocate now the controller as the overtime continues.
May so far has been super clutch, yes, in this OT. I would have to praise it not only on the 3K, but this one, winning against the top fragger or one of the top duelists that we currently have in the server in Khaleesi. Khaleesi was walk contacting, and any second before that, if she cleared towards the right instead of the left, May was dead to right. Even if May got caught off guard, she still landed and won her duel, and it was the most important one because she got rid of the first flanker and also the second flanker in Evil Eli. Huge impact frags here to tie up the game once again for SOTR.
May, it's always been a bit about quality and not quantity, and the impact that she has had later in this game. It's Ghost Gaming, everyone abandoning the op. This game has gotten so fast now as the stress really mounts. 3 stack in short, really unheard of for SOTRs. Crossfire there. Sari will test the waters solo. Okay, the shoulder being spotted, already a first blood, and now Oasis putting down shots to spam through and gets what she wanted. Sari a chance to do even more damage as Sen Otters will be patient despite the commotion across the world. As Ghost Gaming set up their bases.
Yeah, but they have site control now for Ghost Gaming. Camera's still up. Nobody broke it, actually. This might... Okay, finally it gets broken. I was going to say, that might give a chance here for Sen Otters to flood back into site.
Wow. Just the spam through at the back corner. Good check from Oasis. The reads. The slow trickle in, though. A double as all the pins line up for Eli. Unexpected position on top of that box. And that was through the run it back. So Eli, full health and ready to brawl again. 2 versus 2. All up to Avery. Recon destroyed and not able to take advantage. That moment, the focus was split.
Concentrate.
Avery gets attention from the spike tap and Ghost. And on map point, series point.
No charges.
And that was unfortunately not a well-drawn trap play there for Sen Otter. They were trying to go paranoia off contact, but there was nobody really playing contact in the first place. So even when you're walking forward and getting their first pick, look at how the paranoia just whiffs. There's nobody there. Thankfully, Oasis is able to trade that out, but that just opened the site because you know there was 3 players leading towards the A side of Sen Otters that allowed Ghost Gaming to just full pivot to C and take full lockdown control in the pulse plant. And now can they close it out? The patterns are crazy right now in this OT.
This is the fight for top 4. The best result that any player in this lobby has ever had in a GC event. All have been about that evolution.
Deploying drone.
Sen Otters, they grow tired of this Ghost defense. Now the weight is on their shoulders. Salvage this map. Gone the distance as Battison just hesitates. Not as huge for Vanitas, who steps up solo as that lurk initiator. And now Sen Otters, they encroach on Garage. Eli is not gonna be back here. Is gonna be spotted. And now doesn't even have time to flash. Just has to clutch. And Ghost Gaming, it's Ironclad on the B defense. And May, they already know where she is. The hero has to put the cape on her back to save the Otters. 1v3. Sink or swim. Ghost Gaming with Spike in sight too. An uphill battle. No ledge to climb on.
30 seconds.
Ghost Gaming hoping to climb deeper into this bracket. The high-low sends May even lower. 38 rounds later, Ghost Gaming reach top 4.
Ghost Gaming definitely proud of the results so far, but the job